next market structure actually is you see more in the real world, somewhere in the between. Okay, there's some market power and also there's some level of competition. It's called monopolistically competitive market. Monopolistically competitive market. Okay, what are the characteristics in this market? Okay, the first one, since we have this word competitive, that means we have many providers. So it's very competitive market. Okay. So this part is the same as perfect competitive market. Second characteristic talks about the goods. Okay. Unlike the perfect competitive market, in this market, the goods are not identical, are differentiated. Okay. Differentiated goods. Okay. Actually, it's market power the firm have in this market come from here, come from differentiation. Okay. Does not come from the market share because there are many providers. So each firm, each provider, each supplier can only have very small market share. However, since they're able to differentiate their product from somebody else, they're able to maintain that market power. For example, restaurant market is a typical monopolistic competitive market. We have American restaurant, we have Chinese restaurant, Italian restaurant, and each individual restaurant offer their differentiated good, right? Okay, there's a restaurant they sell, steak, supreme steak, and they charge $25 per plate. Okay, why are they able to charge a high price? They will say, okay, our meat is organic, okay, and we offer better atmosphere, better service. So they use this to differentiate their product from somebody else. And by doing so, they're able to maintain this market power, and which is to charge a higher price without losing all the customers. Okay, so the firms in this market have market power, but market power are not from the big market share, it's from the differentiation of their product. Okay. How about entering and exit? Is it easy enter or
modern?
It is easy enter. The reason is if it's not easy enter or exit, it would not be competitive. Competition must come from easy entering and easy exiting. Okay, so it's easy enter and exit. By having this easy entering exit, then we can have the constant flow of the newcomers or the firm who want to shut down their business. So by doing that, you're gonna have a lot of competition, and also the profit can be quickly exhausted in this kind of market. Okay, the last one is what we call market power. So this is the market power come from differentiation. And the very last one, what about the price? Are they price taker or price setter?
Taker.
It's price taker or the price setter? They set their own price because they're able to differentiate their product, so they are able to set their own price. Okay, which is different from others. So price setter. Okay. So this is the market that we see most of the time. Most of the market fall into this category. There's some competition and there's some differentiation. Perfect competitive market, very, very few. Monopolist market is also not many, but this one, we have a lot of markets that is monopoly.
What's the second word in number 4? It said market. Is that pacing?
Market power?
Power.
Okay, I'm sorry. My handwriting is market power come from differentiation and market setter. Okay, restaurant is what else? Clothing. It's also monopolist competitive market. You have many providers. And hand soap, there's only a few, name brand, but you have a lot of other kind of brand. And so, a lot of market for you to this one. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about in this market how firm behave. Okay. We're going to talk about this market just like we talk about monopolistic. Okay. We're going to have the market information and we're going to have the firm characteristics. All right. So, how about the demand? What would the demand look like for each individual monopolistically competitive firm? Horizontal? Give you example. Chinese restaurant. Chinese restaurant has its own targeted consumers, right? Okay, so that's their market share. They are created or they are opened particular for those people. So those people is their market. So when we say we want to draw a demand, we're meaning we are drawing a demand for that particular market. What the demand will look like. The Shogun in Lumberton has its target customers, and that's their market. Okay, so what is market demand? What's the demand look like for that particular share of a market? If price goes up, what's going to happen? The quantity will go down. If the price goes down, the quantity will go up. So it still follows the law of demand. Okay, so it's going to be the same as this. But what's the difference is this. In the monopolist, this demand represents the whole market, represent everyone. But in the monopolist competitive market, since they only serve a portion of the people, and so the demand you are drawing only represent those consumers, those people, and that segment of the market. Make sense? Okay. So the people who do not like Chinese food will not be on this if this represents a monopolist competitive firm. Okay, all right. So still have the same shape. Make sense? Okay. If this is the same shape, and what about marginal revenue? It's still going to be below the demand, and it's going to come from the same point if it's linear. So it's the same thing. The look is actually the same, but the meaning is different. Okay, remember? The meaning this represents whole market in the monopolist, in the monopoly competitive firm, in the monopolist competitive market, it only represents the customer they're serving, that particular segment of market. Okay, so this represents market. How about the firm? Okay, the firms we're talking about, monopolist competitive firm, also has a similar shape as the firm in the other market. So their average total cost curve and the marginal cost curve look exactly the same, has the same kind of shape. So if we're going to draw, it looks exactly the same. So now we can just say this could represent a monopolistically competitive firm.
So monopolistic.
Competitive.
Right, but that graph that we drew initially was for the monopolistic.
Yeah,
right.
For the monopolist competitive firm, the graph is exactly the same.
It's just for a specific market segment.
That's right, that's right. And also the cost curve represents that particular firm's cost. but there is going to be some difference, okay? So we know if this is the case, we know how to find optimal output, right? The same, okay, everything the same. We know how to find optimal price, everything the same. Profit, we know how to find this through the total revenue minus total cost, right? What's the difference? What's the difference in an analysis between monopoly, competitive market, and monopolist? As here. We talk about, for the monopolist, there's no difference between short run and long run, right? What about the monopolist competitive market? There will be. Why? Let's look at this. Let's suppose this is a monopolist competitive firm. This firm, we just calculated, not this, it's this, okay. It has what? Positive economic profit, right? If this firm has a positive economic profit, tell me what's going to happen in the long run. Shogun is making a whole lot of money at the beginning when they started.
A new business will enter.
They will come in. They will come in. Okay, they saw Shogun is making tons of money. They said, oh, there's huge market for Chinese buffet in Lumberton. I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to open another Asian buffet that is similar to that. So what's going to happen is other firms will come in. Now let me ask you this. When other firms come in, how that's going to affect the supply faced by this particular monopolist competitive firm? So let's say a Thai restaurant saw the profit potential in Lumberton. They saw the big profit made by Shogun. So they decide to open a Thai food buffet. So they come in. How that action influence the demand for Shogun's food?
Goes down.
The demand is going to shift down, right? So which means demand is going to shift to where? Shift to the left. And not only that, the demand is going to become elastic or more inelastic
Elastic.
For the Thai.
for the Shogun.
Sure,
For the existing firm, it's going to be more elastic, right? Because now, if you Shogun, you raise the price even for $1, that may turn down a lot of consumers. I'm going to go to the other buffet. You raise $1, I'm going to go somewhere else. So the demand not only is going to shift down, so in the long run, demand is going to go down, shift to the right, left. But at the same time, it's going to become more elastic. When it's more elastic, the demand becomes flatter. So this demand here is going to go down and it's become flatter. So this graph is going to change as time goes by. So this graph is the curve. The firm's characteristic remains there, but the demand and marginal revenue are going to change, going to shift.
So this is the difference between short term and long term again.
That's right. That's right. So in the long run, the other firms will come in. The demand for the existing firm is going to become smaller. It's going to become flatter. And this movement is going to keep going on until what? Until what point? This will stop.
Until the profit goes away.
There's no more profit to make, right? Okay.
Which is when the line becomes completely horizontal, right?
Now I'm going to show you. It's still not horizontal. It's still going to be negative sloped. But I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. So they're going to become flat. Eventually, this graph will change into something like that. In this graph here, the difference is this. This goes away. This shaded area goes away. Because the price this monopolist firm is going to charge is exactly equal to the ATC at Q star.
Say that one more time, please.
Okay. So in the long run, okay, eventually the profit all going to be exhausted. And to show it on the graph, the price is going to be exactly equal to the ATC for this output level. So price equal to ATC at Q star. That's why the profit is equal to 0. So in the long run, demand and marginal revenue, both lines are going to shift, eventually reach that point. Then the market reaches temporarily stable situation, and no outside firm has any incentive to come in, and the existing firm is making its maximum profit. So we reach we call it long run equilibrium point.
So that point there is long run equilibrium point.
Yeah.
Where
The
demand and ATC equal each other.
And where the price is exactly equal to the ATC. Yeah. You guys see that? The price equal to ATC. Q is determined by the MR equal to MC. Then you draw this straight line to demand, you find price. You draw this Q straight to ATC. You find the level ATC, they're exactly the same. They're exactly the same. So if I ask you what's going to happen in the monopoly competitive market in the long run, that's how you're going to answer. You know, demand is going to be smaller, demand is going to become flatter, and the profit eventually is going to be all exhausted, and that's what will happen. So, from that point of view, perfect competitive market and a monopolist competitive market is similar, because in both competitive market, in the long run, no profit. Economic profit is over 0. Okay, because they have competition, they allow entering and exit, so they're all going to be exhausted. So that's the same, but what's the difference is this. In a perfect competitive market, we learned about, P equal to MC. This is the perfect competitive market. What about in the monopolistic competitive market? P is right here. Where is the marginal cost at Q star? Where is the marginal cost at Q star? Q star marginal cost is right here. See the graph? This is the perfect competitive market. This is a monopolistically competitive. They both have the profit equal to 0 in the long run. But the difference is this. In one market, the price is exactly equal to the marginal cost. In the other market, the price is greater than marginal cost. And what does that tell us? What is marginal cost? Marginal cost has another interpretation. it can also represent social cost of making the good. Social cost of making the good. When we have a perfect competitive market, the price charged by the providers are exactly equal to the social cost of making this good. However, in a monopolist competitive market, the price charged by the providers are higher than the social cost of making the good. And due to that, there's also a deadweight loss, there's also the efficiency loss. Deadweight loss, efficiency loss are going to happen, are going to occur, and because the price you charge is greater than the social cost of making the goods.
So, for their deadweight loss, like consumer surplus and producer surplus.
For this one, it's hard to draw. Why? Because this demand here does not represent whole market, does not represent everyone. When we talk about monopolies, that D represent whole market, old consumer. Old consumer had to buy electricity. But this D here just represent the people like Chinese buffet. Okay, so that's why it's going to be hard to do a comparison between this and competitive market, because in the competitive market, your demand represent the whole market, everyone. But this is only a segment. So that's why we don't do the graph comparison. Yeah, because they are basically not comparable. And I want you to draw this graph at least 5 times because it's not easy. The way to draw this is this. Draw demand, draw marginal revenue first. Then you draw the marginal cost. Third, find this Q, find this P, and then at last you draw this ATC. You make sure this ATC is tangent to the demand at this price. So you draw the ATC last. So by drawing this way, you're able to have that look. Draw the ATC last. All right, I'm going to stop here. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Because I think you... Huh?
That's a good look on the test. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to stop here. And because next week we're going to have an exam, I do want to talk about, what will be on it. Okay? Remember, this is one chapter, right? This is one chapter. Okay? Anyway, before we move on, I don't want to rush. Okay, any question on this? I finished everything I want to talk about for this chapter.
This chapter will be on our next test, the final chapter 9.
So you can tell this is a smaller chapter compared to the chapter 5.
Was that all of chapter 8?
Yep.
That's chapter 8.
Okay, couple things you need to know here. If you're tested on chapter 8, and did you take the test yet? Or tomorrow? Okay, good. You come today. Okay. Okay. So what's important is this. First, you need to identify the market right. So far, we have talked about 3 markets: perfect competitive market, monopolistic market, and the monopolist competitive market. And in the exam, you will be given a situation, okay, ask you to identify what market is.
This would be for our final, for her test tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's one.
Can you repeat that?
That's right. So if you identify wrong, that's problematic, okay? So you have to remember the characteristic for each individual market, okay? For the perfect competitive market, goods are identical, goods identical, many providers. For the monopolist, only single provider. That usually is very easy to identify. If there's only one firm providing this, and then you know that's it. But for the monopolist competitive market, remember the major characteristic is the differentiation. The products are differentiated, are similar, they all food, but they're different flavor of food, they're different kind of food. Okay, so when you identify this market, be careful. Okay, once you identify this, then you can solve the problem. If it's a perfect competitive market, you start with this. You use this to derive Q star, right? Okay, if it's a perfect competitive market. Okay, but if it's monopolist market or monopolistic competitive market, and you're going to follow the approach we did today, derive the marginal revenue, derive the marginal cost, and set them equal and solve Q star. You see, so they're different. They're different. If you identify wrong, and then use the rest of it will be wrong. Okay?
And what was which market was the second one?
This is the monopolistically competitive and the monopolistic market. Both markets you're going to use this. You have to derive the marginal revenue and the marginal cost to solve Q star. Sometimes marginal cost is given. Okay? But you do have to derive the marginal revenue. Make sense? Okay, so identify the right, and then write down the appropriate formula for that market and solve from there. And also, Melanie, and I didn't mention one of the question. Actually, this will be a question that on your exam as well. Okay, so describe in a perfect competitive market how the long run equilibrium is realized. Determine in a perfect competitive market. Using the graph and the words to describe how the long run equilibrium in a perfect competitive market is realized. And we did this. Melanie, were you here last class?
Mm-hmm.
You were here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, remember that graph I showed you? There's a big bowl, there's a small bowl inside.
Yep.
You remember that? Then on the side, there's a market. I said this is output market, and this is the input market. The output market is gonna move as this firm you move, and the input market also gonna move. That's the answer for that question. Basically, I'm asking you guys to understand this process, put those graphs, and interpret how these three graphs are interacting with each other.
Where long range average cost curve is tangent to
The short run
average.
cost. You guys know the graph I'm talking about, right? At the end of very last class, right? Yeah. So that is the answer for that question. So I want the graph, all that graph, and I want you to describe what's going on the graph. Okay. Do you guys know, does everybody know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Will you hear, Ola?
Yeah. What is it look like?
At the end of very last class, I believe, it has to be the end of very last class.
I think
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
she said. So this is the one we talking about?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah.
This one.
This one right. This
I'll
one.
check it.
This is, yeah. Basically, that's what I want you to write on your exam, but I want you
What's
to
right?
describe the process, okay? In the video, if you guys forgot, okay, how to answer, how to describe, I think the video has answered.
Which video is that? Which one is that? Which lecture is that?
You can, I mean, I really don't remember.
Day
You don't
nine.
remember
Which, yeah.
Oh.
But just
Day
move along,
nine.
it should be very fast.
Day 9.
Day 9?
Yeah, that would have been last week. That would have been 10.
I may have the video for
28,
this one,
something like that.
for this class. I can ask.
10:25. 10:25.
10:25.
But you know the old videos I have there, if you just move the fast forward.
Fast forward,
Yeah,
okay.
you should be pretty good to find that. Yeah,
And this is on YouTube.
on
Like-
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube.
Okay.
So how about I find out the link for this class, send it to you. Then that's easy. The unit is from last class. How's that?
Yeah.
That'll be good. Everybody know what I'm talking about? Griffin, you know? Or were you here last class?
I wasn't here last class, but we'll
I
come
got it.
here.
Yeah, your
Okay,
book's still there
okay.
too.
All right. Okay.
I'll attempt to teach it.
So that one is at least 20%.
That one?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to draw that graph that you.
Yeah, you have to draw everything you have there on your notes.
Yeah. Okay.
We have
And
to
then
put
explain it.
everything.
Yeah, everything there, and then describe what's going on there using your words. And you may want to work on this together because you may remember something on this graph, she may remember something from the other graph, and by working together, and you may have a complete picture of that. You want me to go over that?
I mean, you said it's on YouTube. Dude.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, they're making it slow.
Oh yeah. Let me get the link tonight and I send it to all of you, right? Okay. Yeah, just from this class. Okay. All right. So that question is down there.
Wait,
Chapter
this is for,
5.
yeah, this is chapter, this is for this exam, okay,
It's for the exam. Yeah.
not the final, got it.
But for this chapter 8, you don't worry about it. Yeah. But she has to worry about it. Melanie has to worry about it. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, there are a couple of concepts one will be tested on. Okay, so on page 200, there is this question 1.
Page 2.
Page 200 on question 1. You see that? And that question, study that, be familiar with that. Okay, understand perfectly. If I just change a little bit, change 16 to 84, or change the function by multiply 2, you should be able to do that. Okay, that question, and also question 13 on page 203. Page 203. Yeah. Okay. So that 2 questions are very similar, basically. So one of the questions on the exam is very similar to that. Okay.
These are not.
Another thing you'll be tested on is something like question 7.
I didn't remember going over that in class.
Cost complementarities? Yes, we
Oh.
did.
Did we?
Yeah, cost complementarity and economy scope. You should have the notes. You should have the notes. Economy scope and cost complementarity. We did not spend much time on it.
Yeah, I didn't understand that concept very well in my homework, so.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, okay, and one more question is,
So it's only gonna be a 3-question test, right?
yeah, so far it's 2, right? Already
That's
3?
3.
Well,
That's 3, so.
Then there should be another one, 4. There's
That's
another
the-
one.
So it's 4.
It's like 4, so
4 question? Yeah.
what's the third question?
It's still not a lot.
What's
It
the
does not take you even an hour. Okay.
Yes.
What's in the set? And
The
then
fourth
graph.
question basically asks you a perfect competitive form.
Yes, that's what
Say,
Okay.
say it again.
Perfect competitive form.
perfect competitive firm.
I will give you a demand function. I'll give you a cost function. Okay? I may also give you a price. So I may give you 3 informations there. Or 2 of 3. Okay? Give you demand, cost function, and also the price. And I tell you this is a perfect competitive market. What I'm gonna ask you to do?
Solve for Q star.
Solve the Q star. Solve the profit, right? And ask you what's gonna happen in the long run.
Which will
You know, in
which
the
will
long
tie,
run.
tie in with the other, with the first thing you said, describe perfect compare how equilibrium is.
No, that's a different question. That graph, you know, long run, that's different question. Here I'm talking about separate question.
Right.
Yeah. But in answer this question, what's gonna happen long run? You can just simply say in long run competition will come in, eventually profit will be driven to 0. Okay.
The other question was equilibrium.
Yeah, the other question I require you to draw this graph describe, and this one, you know, if it's positive profit, you just tell me, okay, in long run it's going to become 0. Please share this information with Michael and Alexis. Yeah.
So it's like migration.
Yeah.
Okay, for you, it's 1 more question, right? 5 more, and that one will be giving you a situation, identify what market it is, then use appropriate
I
formula.
might be on chapter 8 too.
Oh,
So
we
you
don't
said
have
we
that.
can have a quarter page.
That'll be on.
Yeah, yeah,
Just a
quarter page,
Just a quarter
Yeah,
page.
see, like,
just a quarter page, just a quarter page, just make it small.
Just make it small.
I'm not even- Can we count?
Yeah.
Like that?
You have a question, Victor?
No, he has a
Quarter
question.
page for what?
Do we have, is it a problem and there's
Do
so
we get a
much of
quarter
that
page?
last one that you're going over?
First question.
Is that a quarter page
The cost
cheat sheet?
demand.
What the perfect market?
We will get cheat. No.
What's the quarter page?
Yeah, demand.
Quarter.
Quarter page what? Cheat sheet?
Not for you guys.
Oh, we can have a no card.
And this page is divided by 4.
Not for us though.
Not for you guys.
Did I hear we can have a no card?
No, not for you guys.
Are the tests like part?
Because they are online students,
Oh,
you
okay,
know.
So, shit, take it over.
Yeah, I guess we'll have one
I guess it's no example.
based on the homework.
So this, what we went over tonight though basically went back into chapter 5.
There's some overlapping.
Because
There's some
this
over-
made way more sense to me tonight than chapter 5 did. I was really confused with chapter 5.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But chapter 5 is all perfect competitive, right? So it's always the
It's all
price
perfect. That's right.
is going to be equal to
That's right. That's right.
revenue, and you're always deriving your total revenue compared to, right? No.
Perfect is price is equal to marginal cost.
P could MC, yeah.
Are there any problems that are similar to that
He's a
one with
market
the
cost.
perfect?
You're always deriving
to
total
market.
cost.
Okay.
You're talking about the question?
Right, that's what she just said.
The example is,
Good
I
luck.
don't see a thing that is, let me see, maybe a similar.
Cool, that's fine. Those items. I was looking at your notes.
I have Dr. Sanders.
lots of games. Alright, we have to pay for it actually.
Like,
Yeah, not the hand.
Yeah.
Let me read you some from chapter 8, actually, because there's some overlap.
yeah.
This one came from Mrs. Book.
I don't remember reading it in the book, but I thought we did somewhere. We'll go over it.
Okay. Look at page 316. This is just to answer Anton's question. Okay, don't worry about it because I don't want to confuse the rest of it. I just want to answer his question.
Go ahead.
Okay, question 7, read that. That says monopolistic competitive, right? Take that monopolistically out. Just say this is a perfect competitive. Okay? And then I give you this. I give you a demand, and I give you a cost function there, right?
Okay.
Then I may also give you other firms charges price equal to $30. Just write down there. The third information. Other firms charge the good at $30. Okay? Understand? That's the question. It's perfect competitive firm. I give you the demand. I give you the cost. And I tell you that other firms charge this good at $30. I ask you, what does this particular firm charge? Question 1. Question 2, what output is going to produce? 3, how much profit it make?
Put in perfect competitive.
Put into, yep, but change this question into a perfect competitive. And same kind of information, but I'm gonna give you one more piece that other firms charge P equal to $30. So you have to decide which one of the formula you're gonna use. But determine the right form, you know the perfect competitive, you're gonna use the first one, right? So if I tell you the other firm charges $30, so you know this firm is going to charge $30, right? So you don't need to derive the marginal revenue because that formula is not the proper formula for perfect competitive. You see what I'm saying?
But you have to derive that total cost function.
Yeah, you do have to derive the total cost. Or if I make it easy, I just give you the marginal cost. Total cost is right there. You have to derive the marginal cost, right?
Right.
But if I make it easier, I may just give you marginal cost is equal to 5 or 10. But if I did not give you this total cost, you do have to derive the marginal cost.
So I guess what was confusing me on the homework then, so with the demand function being given,
It's to confuse you.
that's all it is?
Yeah, if it's perfect competitive market,
You
it
don't,
asks you to find optimal output and still give you the demand function. It's just to confuse you, to see whether you remember which formula to use.
okay.
You see?
Yeah, it got me. That makes more sense.
Did everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay, good. So I think it covers everything, for you guys, for her to 5 questions. Study at least 8 hours. At least 8 hours. I always tell people 8 hours at least, then you will do well. Did you guys still, Melanie, you can leave, I'm gonna talk to them about project, but if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay, but, okay, so do you guys still have energy to talk about the survey? You want me to help? If I help you, it save you guys time. You want to do it or not? Please?
You have the same. You have the same.
Yeah, I mean, I have everything that I typed up from all the questions and stuff like that. They're just not.
Show it to me. Show it to me. Let's start. Let me get some water, okay? Let me get some.
Go buy some pizza already.
Hey,
I was doing it after the Zim. Go buy some pizza. We can have some dinner. Order some pizza.
walk out.